Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Inspector General of Police, IGP Olatunji Rowan Jesse, PAC Dada, MPA, I welcome you to this press briefing convened to update the public on some significant breakthroughs recently recorded by the IRT of Force Intelligence Department operatives of the Nigerian Police Force in the fight against organized crime and other emerging criminal activities across the country. The Nigerian Police Force remains steadfast in its constitutional responsibility of protecting lives and property, enforcing the law, and dismantling criminal networks threatening the peace and security of our nation. Today, we shall be presenting three major cases which underscores the evolving nature of crime and the sustained effort of the police to confront it decisively. These cases highlight not only the complexity of modern criminal operations, but also the need for increased vigilance, public cooperation, and continuous intelligence gathering in combating crime. They equally demonstrates the commitment of the Nigerian Police Force for the ensuring that criminal elements, irrespective of their mode of affiliation, are identified, apprehended, and brought to justice. Gentlemen of the press, details of these investigations and the suspects involved are as follows. The first case involves the dismantling of a transnational human trafficking syndicate with the arrest of 13 suspects and the rescue of 30 victims who were being exploited through organized trafficking operations. The suspects are Abdul Nabi, Fatai Kulibale, Ahmed Kasango, Sedibi Musa, Mohammed Dembele, Saidu Traore, Ali Kubali, Kulibali, Abdul Ngeki, Ahmed Silma, Laya Bando, Aisha Dembele, Abi Togo, and Awa Tusore. While the victims rescued are 30 in number: Issa Traore, Kemu Mani, Sado Atumi, Ali Karabale, Mohammed Keita, Ishaku Fwani, Sediki Demeli Dembele, Ngolo Conte, Issa Traore, Abubakar Conte, Ibrahim Tabale, Aliu Diko, Bilal Traore, Idris Kunte, Hamza Kulibale, Ronald Traore, Salifu Kone, Barje Zumuha, Madu Kulibale, Abile Gerang Mohammed Kulibale, Mary Kumari, Janaban Traore, Dina Tamale, Fatima Traore, Kadi Dembele, Umel Traore, Aisha Dallo, Batama Traore, and Batama Keita. This is a case of transborder human trafficking, criminal conspiracy, obtaining money under false pretenses, unlawful detention, and stage kidnapping for ransom currently under investigation by the Nigerian Police Force. The suspects include all the 30 persons earlier mentioned. The investigation into this case commenced following a formal petition submitted to the Nigerian Police Force by the Association of Malian Citizens in Nigeria regarding the disappearance of several Malian nationals within Nigeria under suspicious circumstances. Preliminary findings disclose that a disturbing trend in which victims, after being declared missing, resurface through distress calls to relatives and associates, claiming to have been kidnapped and demanding ransom payment for their release. In response, operatives of the intelligence response team initiated a diligent investigation involving both geospatial, technical intelligence, and human intelligence. The operation, which lasted 17 days, uncovered a sophisticated transnational trafficking and fraudulent exploitation network operating within the Federal Capital Territory and the neighboring communities. Investigations revealed that the syndicate led by Abdul Gaki specifically targeted vulnerable young persons from West African countries, particularly Mali and Gabon, by falsely promising them opportunities to travel to Europe, especially Spain, or other options to secure high-paying employment within Nigeria. Victims were instructed to pay approximately 120,000 naira as transportation and processing fees. Further findings established that upon arrival in Nigeria, the victims were conveyed to locations situated within residential apartments in Maraba and Karu, Nasarawa State. At these locations, had their movements restricted and were compelled to make additional payments amounting to 150,000 naira under the guise of investment fees for wellness, product, and business schemes. Those victims unable to make additional payments were subsequently coerced into participating in stage kidnapping schemes orchestrated by the syndicate. Under this arrangement, victims were forced to contact their families in their home countries while pretending to be kidnapped victims, thereby inducing relatives to remit ransom payment into accounts controlled by members of the syndicate. Acting on credible and actionable intelligence, operatives of the IRT on the 7th of May 2026 conducted a well-coordinated operation to search two of these residential locations along Barrister Road, Rogam Dakachi, Nasarawa State. The operations yielded positive results, leading to the rescue of 30 victims, all identified to be Malian nationals, held under exploitative and restrictive conditions. 13 suspects directly linked to the operation of the syndicate were also arrested during the operation. The Nigerian Police Force is currently collaborating with the Immigration Service and the Embassy of Mali to facilitate the proper documentation, protection, and safe repatriation of the rescued victims. Investigations are also ongoing to identify additional collaborators, including persons who may have in assisted the syndicate in securing accommodation, facilitating logistics, and concealing the illegal activities under the guise of legitimate business operations. The second case of criminal conspiracy, armed robbery, kidnapping, and unlawful possession of firearms involving a three-man syndicate with a strong family connection. The suspects currently in custody are Musa Adamu and Yusuf Rabo, who is a biological son of the victim, Alaji Rabo Jelani as well as Ali Haruna, the victim's grandsons, now at large. Exhibits recovered in this particular case includes one AK-47 rifle with empty magazine. Investigations reveal that Musa Adamu connived with Yusuf Rabo and Ali Haruna, resolved to abduct their own father slash grandfather, Kalaji Rabo Jelani, on the premise that he was wealthy and possessed a large head of livestock. Ali Haruna was found to have supplied an AK-47 rifle belonging to his father, which was retained and deployed for the operation, while Yusuf Rabo and Musa Adamu each secured each sourced additional AK-47 rifle. The syndicate operated a structured sharing arrangement in which proceeds from criminal activities were distributed among members, with deductions made for the procurement and use of firearms. The victim was abducted and taken to a forested location nearby. Thereafter, Yusuf Rabo assumed the role of principal negotiator, coordinating communication with the victim's family and issuing ransom demands. Investigations revealed that the first kidnapping of the victim resulted in the payment of a ransom sum of 2 million naira. From this amount, 1 million naira was deducted for the firearms used, while balance was shared among the conspirators. The subsequent abduction of the same victim was later carried out, resulting in the payment of 4,500,000 naira. A deduction of 1 million was made for operational weapons, while Yusuf Rabo reportedly diverted his share of the proceeds into cattle business, allegedly as a means of concealing the illicit origin of his funds. Apart from these intra-family abductions, the syndicate have been implicated in other violent crimes within the region. These include the kidnapping of an Igbo trader identified as Mr. Ike, for which a sum of 2 million naira was collected, as well as an armed robbery incident along the highway near Government Secondary School, Kagoma, where passengers of a vehicle returning from the market were attacked and dispossessed of 1 million naira. Efforts are ongoing to apprehend Ali Haruna, who is currently at large, and to recover any exhibit used in the commission of the crime. The third case, which is the case of criminal conspiracy, housebreaking, malicious damage to property, administering suspected harmful substances, and theft. One suspect is in custody. Exhibit recovered includes one iPhone 17 Pro Max, and the facts of the case are as follows. John Cosmos Goffey, a 41-year-old male and professional chef, is currently under investigation for criminal conspiracy, housebreaking, malicious damage to property, administering suspected harmful substances, and theft. The suspect, who disclosed that he trained at a catering school in Cotonou, Benin Republic in 2010, subsequently relocated to Nigeria, where he worked as a chef for various companies and private individuals prior to his arrest. Investigations reveal that in early 2026, the suspect came in contact with two accomplices identified as Peter and Moses, both nationals of Benin Republic, whom he allegedly met at Use Market during routine market errands. Subsequently, in March 2026, he secured employment as a chef in the residence of engineer Kasim Abu Amjad. Preliminary investigation further established that the suspect connived with his accomplices, carefully studied the routine movement, and security structure of its employer's residence before executing their criminal plan. On 23rd of April 2026, the suspect carried out the operation by preparing soup laced with a suspected sedative substance, which John Govey claimed was intended to induce sleep both in both his employer and the security guard, thereby preventing any resistance or the release of guard dogs. At about 10 p.m., after the substance had reportedly taken effect, the suspect facilitated the entry of his accomplices into the residence and as initially captured by the premises CCTV camera system. The suspect subsequently gained access to the victim's room, where they reportedly vandalized and destroyed the CCTV camera monitoring system before ransacking the apartment. They thereafter carried away the sum of 12,000 naira in cash along with 20 luxury wristwatches valued at approximately 150 million naira before fleeing the scene. Investigations further revealed that the suspect attempted to escape through Ogbolada Park en route to Lagos, but were intercepted by operatives of the Force Intelligence Department. Further findings indicate that John Cosmos Goffey allegedly specializes in posing as household staff, particularly as a cook or cleaner, to gain employment within affluent neighborhood. He reportedly secures such employment through fraudulent recruit agencies with the intention of infiltrating the residence of prominent individuals. Their modus operandi involves gaining the confidence and trust of employers over a period of time before inviting accomplices into the residence to steal valuable items including luxury wristwatches, jewelries, and safes. During the operation, the victim's mobile phone was recovered from the suspect along an unidentified chemical substance recovered from the residence of the victim. The substance has since been forwarded to the laboratory for forensic analysis to determine its composition and content. Engineer Kasim Abu Amjad and three members of his family are currently receiving medical attention at the Federal Medical Center, Jabi, following the incident. The principal suspect, John Cosmos Goffey, has admitted involvement in the crime and is currently assisting investigators with useful information expected to aid the arrest of other gang members and recovery of stolen items. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, the cases presented today reflect the evolving dynamics of criminality within our society and the determination of the Nigerian police force to proactively respond to these threats through intelligence-driven operations and strategic policing initiatives. The successful dismantling of a transnational trafficking syndicate, the arrest of suspects involved in family-backed kidnapping conspiracy, and the apprehension of a domestic staff-led robbery network all demonstrates the vigilance, professionalism, and operational capacity of the force in combating crime in all its forms. The Nigerian Police Force wishes to assure members of the public that investigations into these cases are ongoing. Efforts are being intensified to apprehend other fleeing suspects, recover additional exhibits, dismantle connected criminal networks, and ensure diligent prosecution of all persons found culpable. We also use we would also like to use this opportunity to advise citizens to remain security conscious, exercise caution in the engagement of domestic staff and unfamiliar agents, and promptly report suspicious activities to the nearest police formation or relevant security agencies. Public support and credible information remains critical to the success of policing efforts nationwide. At this point, I would like to invite DCP Adamu Mwazo, who was directly involved in the investigation, to say a word or two about the case. If you can look to my right there, some of the suspects and the victims of that trans-border crime. Mwazo, over to you.
Gentlemen of the press, in view of the presentation just concluded by the first has been very informative and advisory. These cases selected were very deliberate because of the lasting content of the cases, especially the rescue of the Malians and the case of domestic staff. Members of the public need to be guided, advised, and conscientized when it comes to the issue of neighborhood and community surveillance. The Malians victims were rescued as a result of the complaint being channeled out to us by the Malians in diaspora. But we were able to succeed because of the cooperation we got and information from the members of the public. The victims were mostly being kept in the outskirts of communities. They normally do it deliberately. They will get houses that are far from the normal residences where movement and human activities are limited deliberately so that they will perfect and continue this act of deception. As rightly said by the first PPRO, the perpetrators of this act normally lure young men from their nation with deceptions of getting them white-collar jobs. And as soon as they come down to this country, they'll be held captives and be deceived and will be forced to channel out pictures that shows inhuman treatment to their families down to their nation, compelling the family to send down money. Investigation is still ongoing, and we hope to make further breakthrough because we have been informed that there are some pockets of houses and compounds that are housing some of these African nationals, mostly Malians, Senegalese, and Ghanaians. The second case, that is that of the chef, which is so very disturbing. We're able, after this case was being televised, we're able to get some clues from Lagos that same person deceived his landlord because he was employed sometimes in Lagos, and they employed the same pattern, and they succeeded in drowsing the landlord and carted away a lot of valuable from him. And the same thing happened with what they did here in Abuja, gaining employment, drowsing the house owner, the security men, along with even his visitor. His visitor came in and was even served meal. But fortunately to him, the quantity of what was being administered to the visitor was limited. So he couldn't sleep instantly, he has to leave, being drowsy. When he became sure that the landlord and the security men fell asleep, then he called on his counterpart and they came in, who happened to be Benin Republic nationals, and boggled all the compound, made away with wristwatch costing up to 150 million. Members of the public, it's high time, and also, in order to advocate the cause orders made by the IGP, it's high time from these cases we have lessons to learn and also to advise members of the public to ensure that we're always security conscious. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. And over there, and the brain behind the crime. Over there, we have three suspects from Benin Republic that masterminded the sedition of their master's food, such that if they fall asleep, they will ransack the house and steal valuables and disappear. But incidentally, they were not lucky enough. And over here, we have we have three suspects that were involved in the kidnap of their grandfather, and one of them is my biological father. But the grandson is at large, and we have the two suspects who were involved in the kidnapping case. Each time they wanted to oppress, each of them will hire police. As I said earlier, each time somebody can produce two AK-47, whatever ransom they get, they will set aside 2 million for that purpose.